Hello friends, today we will read the chapter number 5 of 7th class English book Honeycomb, and the name of the chapter is Quality. As the name of the chapter tells us that this chapter must be about the quality of something. Now, quality means the standard of something compared to other things of a similar kind. किसी चीज़ का grade. For example, if we want to buy fruits, then first of all we will look for the shop which have the good quality fruits. Then we will buy fruits of quality from that shop. The same is the case with this chapter. This chapter is about the quality of shoes. Now let's get started with the chapter. I knew him from the days of my extreme youth because he made my father's boot. Now I in this story is narrator who narrates the story, जो story को सुना रहा है. Who has written this story? Now in the very first line, narrator tells us about the man who used to make the boots for his father. And narrator उस person को तब से जानता था when he was young. He lived with his elder brother in his shop, which was in a small by street in a fashionable part of London. Now, that person was living with his elder brother in the shop, and that shop was situated in the street of a fashionable part of London. Fashionable part means where the people love fashion, they used to be fashionable. The shop had a certain quiet distinction. That means that shop was having something different from other shops. There was no sign upon it other than the name of Gessler Brothers. And in the window, a few pairs of boots. अब जैसे शॉप के बाहर बोर्ड्स लगे होते हैं. But this shop was not having any kind of board except the name of Gessler Brothers. Means only Gessler Brothers लिखा हुआ था शॉप के बाहर, and there were few pairs of boots which were displayed in the window. He made only what was ordered, and what he made never failed to fit. And they made boots if any person gave them order. और जो boots वो बनाते थे वो हमेशा कस्टमर को परफेक्टली फिट आते थे, कहीं से भी कोई लूज या टाइट नहीं होते थे. To make boots, such boots as he made seemed to me then and still seems to me mysterious and wonderful. The boots made by that person were wonderful. Wonderful means excellent, and mysterious. Mysterious means you can say difficult to understand. I remember well my shy remarks one day while stretching out to him my youthful foot. Like whenever we go to any shoe shop, we show them our foot so that they can know our size. Now in the same way, narrator tells us that when he went to his shop and he remembered his shy remarks. Shy remarks means जो कोई भी बात हम शर्म महसूस करते हुए कहते हैं. And he forwarded his foot towards Gessler and said, "Isn't it awfully hard to do, Mr. Gessler?" Now the narrator asked a question to Mr. Gessler that कि आपका जो काम है क्या वो बहुत ज़्यादा hard नहीं है? And his answer given with a sudden smile from out of the redness of his beard, "It is an art." Now Mr. Gessler replied with a smile and redness on his face, and he said in a German accent that it is an art. Now art means something creative. It was not possible to go to him very often. Now उसकी शॉप में लगातार जाते रहना पॉसिबल नहीं था, मतलब इस चीज़ की ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ती थी. His boots lasted terribly. It means his boots lasted very long. Means बहुत ज़्यादा देर तक वो चलते रहते थे, टूटते नहीं थे. Having something beyond the temporary. And his boots were having something more than the temporary things. Temporary होता है जो कोई भी चीज़ कुछ टाइम के लिए हो, पर उसके बूट्स टेम्परेरी से कुछ बढ़कर होते थे. Some essence of boot stitched into them. Now essence of boots means his hard work was stitched into them. That's why those boots used to be permanent. One went in not as into the most shops, but restfully as one enters a church and sitting on the single wooden chair and waited. Now, it means when anyone went in his shop, they did not feel as they used to feel in other shops, but they enter Mr. Gessler's shop comfortably, just as one enters a church in a relaxed way. And they sat on the single chair and waited for Mr. Gessler to come and attend the customers. A guttural sound and the tip tap of his slippers beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat, a little bent in leather apron, with sleeves turned back, blinking as if awakened from some dreams of boots. Now, guttural sound means the sound coming from throat or some harsh sound. Now, it means that the customer can hear the noise of his slippers beating the wooden stairs. Like जब कोई कस्टमर आता था तो वो अपने कस्टमर को अटेंड करने के लिए अपनी नैरो मीन्स कम जगह में बनी हुई वुडन मीन्स लकड़ी की और स्टेयर्स मीन्स सीढ़ियाँ, और वो सीढ़ियों को उतरता था तो स्लिपर्स की आवाज़ आती थी और वो कस्टमर के सामने विदाउट वेयरिंग हिज कोट वो खड़ा हो जाता था और उसकी बॉडी थोड़ी सी झुकी हुई और लेदर एप्रन पहना हुआ था उसने, एंड वो अपनी फुल स्लीव्स को टर्न करके रखता था एंड वॉज ब्लिंकिंग। ब्लिंक मीन्स आईज को ब्लिंक करना, झपकना, और ऐसा लगता था कि ही हैज़ जस्ट अवेकेंड फ्रॉम हिज ड्रीम्स ऑफ बूट्स. And I would say, "How do you do, Mr. Gessler?" And I used to ask him that, "How are you, Mr. Gessler? Could you make me a pair of Russian leather boots?" And I asked him, "Can you make for me a pair of Russian leather boots?" And Russian leather means those are a kind of boot which are made from the Russian leather. Without a word, he would leave me retiring. Retiring here means waiting. Now it means without saying anything, he just moved from there and made me wait for him to come. And whence he came, whence means when he came, or into the other portion of the shop. And when he came or he enters the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the incense of his trade. And the narrator says that in the meantime, I just continued to rest in the wooden chair. I could smell the leather which was used by him to make boots. Soon he would come back holding in his hand a piece of gold brown leather. And soon he come back and brought a piece of golden brown color leather in his hand. With eyes fixed on it, he would remark, "What a beautiful piece." While looking at that leather piece, he said, "What a beautiful piece." Like उसको admire करता है कि कितना सुंदर piece है leather का. When I too had admired it, he would speak again. And when I too had means जब मैं भी उसकी तारीफ कर देता, and he would speak again, तो वो फिर से बोलता, "When do you want them?" अब ये उसका डिफरेंट एक्सेंट है, मतलब वो डिफरेंट एक्सेंट में बोल रहा है कि व्हेन डू यू वांट देम, कि आपको वो बूट्स कब चाहिए. एंड आई वुड आंसर, "ओह, एज सून एज यू कन्वीनियंटली कैन." Conveniently means without any difficulty. And I answered him, "As soon as you can make them without any difficulty." And he would say, "Tomorrow fortnight." And he answered me that fortnight means a period of 14 days. You can come after 14 days and can get your pair of shoes. Or if he were his elder brother, I will ask my brother. और अगर उसका वो बड़ा भाई होता तो वो अपने भाई से पूछता. Then I would murmur. Murmur means to speak slowly. "Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Gessler." And he also used to say, "Good morning." He would reply, still looking at the leather in his hand. मीन्स वो मेरी गुड मॉर्निंग का रिप्लाई अपने हाथों में पकड़े हुए लेदर की तरफ देखते हुए देता था. एंड एज आई मूव्ड टू द डोर आई वुड हियर द टिप टैप ऑफ हिज स्लिपर्स गोइंग अप द स्टेयर्स टू हिज ड्रीम्स ऑफ बूट्स. और जब मैं चला जाता वहाँ से तो वो फिर मीन्स अपस्टेयर चला जाता, अपने ड्रीम्स ऑफ बूट्स में वो खो जाता. I cannot forget that day on which I had occasion to say him, Mr. Gessler, that last pair of words creaked, you know. Now, narrator says that I cannot forget that day on which I complained to Mr. Gessler about his boots, that your boots has a crack in it. He looked at me for a time without replying, as if expecting me to withdraw or qualify the statement, then said, it shouldn't have creaked. एंड देन ही लुक्ड एट मी विदाउट सेइंग एनीथिंग, और वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा था कि मैं जो मैंने कंप्लेंट की है उसको मैं वापस ले लूँ. एंड देन ही सेड दैट इट शुडंट हैव ग्रीक्ड, कि वो ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए था. इट डिड, आई एम अफ्रेड. एंड देन आई सेड बट इट डिड, you got them wet before they found themselves. And Mr. Gessler said that you must have got the boots wet. Wet means गीला करना. And the narrator said, I don't think so, कि मैंने ऐसा नहीं किया. At that, he lowered his eyes as if hunting for memory of those boots, and I felt sorry I had mentioned this grave thing. And then Mr. Gessler lowered his eyes as he was memorizing about those boots. And I felt sorry. And I was feeling sorry. And I thought that I must not have said that to him. Them back, he said, I will look at them. And then Mr. Gessler said that, कि आप उनको ले आना, and I will look कि what happened to those boots. Some boots, he continued slowly, are bad from birth. If I can do nothing with them, I take them off your will. Then he said that some used to be bad from the birth, मतलब शुरू से ही खराब होते हैं. And if I could do nothing with that pair of shoes, then I will not take money for those boots. And once I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. And once the narrator went into his shop absent mindedly. Absent mindedly means not very carefully. And at that time, he was wearing the shoes which he bought from some other shop. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. It means that he did not show me any leather and took my order. And the next line, penetrating, means to enter into something, and inferior covering here means the boots which he was wearing, they were of inferior quality. And he was looking at my shoes. At last he said, those are not my boots. And at last, after observing my shoes, he said कि वो मेरे बनाए हुए शूज़ नहीं हैं. The tone was not one of anger, nor of sorrow, not even of contempt, but there was in it something quiet that froze the blood. अब राइटर कहता है कि उसके बोलने के अंदाज में दुख भी नहीं था, गुस्सा भी नहीं था, और कंटेम्प्ट मीन्स डिसओबीडेंट भी नहीं था. बट देर वॉज समथिंग दैट कुड फ्रोज द ब्लड, जो ब्लड को जमा सकता था. हियर ही मीन टू से दैट द राइटर वॉज फीलिंग गिल्टी. वो इसलिए गिल्टी फील कर रहा था कि उसको लग रहा था कि मिस्टर गैसलर सोच रहा होगा कि इसने इतने बढ़िया आर्टिस्ट को छोड़ के किसी और के शूज़ पहने हुए हैं. ही पुट हिज हैंड डाउन एंड प्रेस्ड अ फिंगर ऑन द प्लेस वेयर द लेफ्ट बूट वॉज क्वाइट कम्फर्टेबल. तो उसने अपने फिंगर को लेफ्ट बूट पे प्रेस किया जहाँ पर वो बूट राइटर को कंफर्टेबल नहीं था. इट हर्ट्स यू देयर, ही सेड. और उसने कहा कि इट हर्ट्स यू देयर, के ये आपको इस जगह पे दुख पहुंचा रहा है. मीन्स द बूट इज़ नॉट कंफर्टेबली फिट टू द राइटर. दोज बिग फर्म्स हैव नो सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट. देन ही सेड दैट जो बिग फर्म्स होती हैं उनकी कोई सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट नहीं होती. एंड देन एज इफ समथिंग हैड गिवन वे विद इन हिम, ही स्पोक लॉन्ग एंड बिटरली. Now he said that I felt like if something had given the way inside him, and he spoke about those firms bitterly. Like वो काफ़ी देर तक उन firms के बारे में कड़वाहट से बोलता रहा. Means उनके against बोलता रहा. It was the only time I ever heard him discuss the conditions and hardships of his trade. Then the narrator said that at that time he discussed with me the conditions and hardships. Hardships means जो difficulties उनको आती थी, and hardships of his